I'm now just outside the beautiful town of Penrith. I've done about 400 miles, which is, I think, pretty good. And I've been thinking about how I said last time that every adventure has 3 steps. Dream it, plan it, and do it. But I realised that actually there's a secret that most people don't know. And that is that when you're doing the adventure, there are also 3 parts.
Just imagine a trip to a wonderful land of candy and jam and ice cream.
This is a very long road. Got to keep moving. You got it.
I gotta hit that string, you better watch it. With a gap that attack it with a full clip. I got the whip, got the pitch that I keep it undercover. All up in the cup, just to live it up. See this stone cold face, try to knock it.
Go, keep on going.
I got a grip in it. I gotta beat it, gotta beat it, gotta beat it, beat it, beat it, yeah.
It should be beautiful running through places like this, but I'm so tired and my feet hurt so much I can't enjoy it. The last few days have been really tough. The weather's been bad, the running's been difficult, and I found myself yesterday running up this huge hill that seemed to never end, and there was this wind that felt like I was being pushed backwards by a giant or something. And I started muttering to myself. I started saying things like, oh, it's too hard, oh, I can't do this, it's too cold, the hill's too big, it's too far to go. And I had to kind of shake myself and say, you've got to stop talking to yourself like this, Nick, otherwise you will fail. You will give up. I think that's probably the most important thing. You've got to, whenever things are going really badly or they're harder than you thought they were going to be, you've got to stop yourself and start talking kindly to yourself. You've got to say things like, yeah, it's really difficult and it is harder than you thought and the wind's too strong and the hill's too big. But you know what? Look how well you've done. Look how far you've already come. And when you start thinking about the happy things, about the good things, then you stop thinking about the bad things. And the second thing you've got to do is you've got to be kind to yourself by giving yourself a break. You've got to say, you know what, let's just stop for a moment. Let's have a bite to eat. Let's think about something happy. Think about something different if you want. And then after a while you feel better. And when you start feeling better, then you can start laughing about it. You can say, oh, who would be so silly as to come running on a day like this? Who would be so silly as to go for such a long run? And when you start laughing about it, then you can carry on, you can keep on going. And that's what happened to me yesterday. And after a while, a bad day turned into actually a really good day.
But why was I feeling so sad? Well, just like a motor, my muscles need energy to work. But my muscles use sugar from my food rather than electricity from a battery. After a lot of running, the energy gets all used up, so my body starts turning my fat into fuel and even starts trying to eat my muscles. To do this, it sends a chemical called cortisol into my body. This chemical tries to warn me to stop running by making me feel really sad and tired. The longer I keep going, the more sad and tired I feel, until I just have to stop, eat and rest. Once I've eaten and rested enough, I do feel better, but then I have to get back out there and start running all over again. Ugh.
So, if this adventure is so difficult, why am I doing it?
Well, I've now run all the way from the very top of Scotland to Manchester. That's 471 miles. When I first started this adventure, I was making all kinds of mistakes.
I had a big greasy fish and chips for lunch, and now I'm running and I feel horrible. I run, I puke, I run, I puke. I won't show it to you because it's disgusting, but I've just thrown up over there. I'm never doing that again. Lesson learned.
But things are getting a bit easier now, because every time I got something wrong, I would challenge myself to learn from it rather than giving up.
Just managed to twist my ankle on some uneven ground back there. I guess I've got to make sure I go on footpaths from now on.
And every time I did, I got a little bit stronger. I became a little bit more resilient. I'm just under halfway through this adventure, but I can already feel myself changing. I used to think that walking to the supermarket was a long way. Now, it's nothing. I used to get worried when things went wrong. Now, I see them as ways to get even stronger. I'm not saying it's easy, but maybe it shouldn't be. If it were easy, everyone would be resilient. Everyone would become the person who wouldn't give up until they had the life of their dreams. And that's a prize that should be hard to get. Now it's your turn. I want you to start practicing resilience yourself. I want you to pick one activity, for example, hopping on the spot for 3 minutes, smiling non-stop for 3 minutes, or learning 4 new words in a foreign language. You're going to try to do this thing every day for 7 days. If you decide to take up the challenge, just like my adventure, you'll probably start off fun and excited, then it'll get harder. When it gets harder, remember to speak kindly to yourself and give yourself a break sometimes. If you get to the end of the 7 days and you've done your activity every single day, then well done. Now you have to pick a slightly harder challenge for yourself. But what if you didn't get all the way to the end of the 7 days? What if you stopped after 2 or 3 days? Did you fail? Well, yes, but only if you stop there. If you want to be resilient, then the first thing you have to do is learn from your mistake. Why did you stop? Was it too boring? Well, perhaps you need to find a way to make it more fun, like doing it with a friend. Did you forget? Then maybe you need to find a way to remember. Maybe ask your parent or guardian to remind you. Did you find it hard to fit in? Well, then maybe you need to find a better time of the day to do it. Once you've learned from your mistake, go back and start from the very beginning, day 1. If you do this, and you get further than last time, you've learned something much more important than how to hop on the spot or smile. You've started to become a better, more resilient person. And if you are brave enough to take on this challenge, then take some pictures or write down what you did. Give them to your teachers, and I will then judge the best for some special prizes. And as always, you can find out even more on social media. See you again soon.